I'm very inspired by the natural world, and it definitely informs my design practice. I'm a bit of a dork, so I try and match gel colors to sunsets or sunrises, whatever. It's a little silly, but I do it. Talking about light is extremely difficult. A lot of it, for me, is movement, and a lot of that, for me, comes from music and from what a sound designer is doing, or from the rhythm of an actor's feet on the stage, or like the patter of their voice, or any of that could influence what I'm doing. I get most of it from actual interactions with collaborators or performers.
We begin with a sermon, like the church music, and trying to put Natasha in the most badass pose ever.
The windows were covered, and then we put some LEDs inside, and then there was another set of something kind of diffusing the LEDs, and then the curtains in front. So it really looks like lit windows, right?
Yeah.
Until later.
It's not literal. It never is when you're working with Michelle Ramsay. She digs deeper, she wants to know more.
I have worked with a lot of different designers, and I have never had that level of connection that I have with her. She's a real change maker.
Keep it open, stay in it. If you really want to do it, it will happen, it will come. You have to work so hard.
I've never met another woman of color who's a lighting designer.
Because there are so few. There are so few for all these systemic reasons, like for all these barriers.
Because she's a great listener and she does not take up space, you know, she will always put the BIPOC artists such as myself front and center and there to support.
We are in a time of long overdue change in theater, and we need to ensure that design is part of that change. So what are some ways that we can support our performers with our design?
Listening to them, getting their input.
The advocacy work in the design world for me is a really important part of my practice, because the stories that I want to help tell are generally the ones that are not told. They're not heard, they're underrepresented. Generally, the stuff I like to work on is not mainstream.
All painting is about light. The obsession with light is at once religious, visual, and erotic. Kehinde Wiley.
If this is a contemporary piece, then maybe having like a giant ring light or something. Like, exactly.
I think of Michelle as a pragmatist who makes poetic spaces. She's someone who's quietly been on a very clear path in her thinking and in what she gives her energy to.
She's asking that question now. What can I do with the kind of power that I have to further the biggest story, the most important story that's happening in our landscape right now? What can I do to empower young, emerging BIPOC designers onto the scene so that my success can also be their success?
There's a large group of people that are not represented in the design community, and it's so important to find them and to support them and to just be there and be an ally, really.